We'll call to order the Town of Lake Lure Town Council regular meeting Tuesday, March the 12th at 5 p.m. Would you rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation? Thank you for thinking of me.
Oh, sorry. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for an opportunity to gather together as we conduct the formal business of the Town of Lake Lure. As spring begins anew, let us also renew our spirits, enjoy hope and fulfillment for a promising future, for our town, for our friends, family, and neighbors. Be with our emergency services personnel as we begin this new chapter for our community this year. There'll be quite a lot ahead, and we are very excited for the future, and let them be the best personnel that they can provide for our town, for safety, and for dedicating their time and service to our community. Thank you for the power of discernment this evening as we review our agenda, and we thank you for your grace and mercy and for all of the promises of the future to come. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it as always, and we look forward to your participation. There's only one person signed up for public comment. If there's anyone else who has come in since we picked up the sheet, you are welcome to, after the first person goes to the rostrum, to just come forward, and each person has 3 minutes, and you may share your comments with us. Thank you. Do I hear a motion to either edit or adopt the agenda as posted?
Madam Mayor, seeing no other addendums, make a motion we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the agenda stands as posted, adopted as posted.
Looks like public comment was left out.
Oh,
No, it's up, it's here.
Oh, okay.
We'll move on to the mayor's communications, and I would just like to say one thing, and that is someone who has been very important to the town of Lake Lure, and that is Pam Keith, passed away this last week, and so we would just like to recognize that, and she was such a important member of our community. She and Bob did so many things for the community. He was mayor, as you remember, here for a number of years, so our thoughts are certainly with Bob now, and our prayers. And we're just so thankful that we were able to know them, and thankful for everything that they did for our town. So we will move on then to the town manager's communications.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. We'll start with public services. Had a good month. They had cut all new ditches on the North Shore Road, cleaned existing ditches, and cut new ditches as needed on Sidney Lanier Road, cleaned ditches on Luther Burbank, and reseeded the grass in front of the town hall, including cutting out the pre-existing problematic grass and the use of fill dirt as needed on the reseeding. And lastly, they installed a flash mixer at the wastewater treatment plant. Moving on to community development, they had 43 permits for the month of February, as compared to 39 for the month of January, and performed numerous follow-ups. These included 10 zoning, 9 lake structure, 4 land disturbance permits, and 6 vacation rental operators. The BOA reviewed and approved 2 special use permits, the Flowering Bridge's new educational building and the recreational vehicle rental use. Also, they reviewed and approved the variance request to allow a second ingress-egress for the new business site on Memorial Highway. And then lastly, they reported that Tillman Construction, who is the contractor for AT&T, has obtained their county building permit for the new communication tower, staying on track for the tower to be erected and in service in May of this year. Yep.
Don't clap yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving for fire and emergency management, they had 41 fire, medical, and rescue calls, and then also completed 420 hours of training for the month. They had assisted Rutherford County, the Fire Marshal's Office, with the flood siren maintenance and participated in Duke Energy's community forum, which we had in this room within the last 30 days. I'm not remembering the date on it, but it was well attended by all in the community. Moving forward to police, they wanted to report, among other things, the department took on a great service to the community many years ago by offering a medicine drop box for the department's foyer. Officer Shuford oversees the collection, weighing and disposing of the unused medicine at the beginning of February. The total weight of discarded medicines was 28 pounds. That's a pretty large amount, according to the department, and I think we all agree on that one. The community is to be commended in helping us keep unused drugs safe and out of the waterway. Moving forward to Parks, Recreation, and Lake, in addition to the numerous hours reported for trail maintenance and budget planning, they reported 52 volunteer hours for the month of February, it valued at $1,040. They had a drainage pipe install at the green space, walking path reroute and plans moving forward. This was a drain underneath the highway that changed plans on the department quite quickly. I want to commend the department for being able to shift on the go and to be able to adapt to that, so they got that taken care of with the DOT. Moving to finance, the town continued to sustain its strong financial position with an unreconciled bank balance of approximately $11,300,000 for all funds other than special revenue funds or the dam fund. Regarding the dam fund, additional draws are still being made from the Reserve and Capital Projects Fund to remit payment for the drain valve project. After this past accounting period's payment, the fund still holds a balance of approximately $14,219,000, including accumulated interest of $462,500. And then efforts are still continuing to analyze potential cost savings with vendors and possible changes and even termination of long-standing service agreements for services deemed no longer necessary and outdated. What they're really doing is they're going through a lot of the paperwork and the services that we've had in the past, and they're critically evaluating the need for the continuance of those and eliminating those things that are considered useless or redundant at this time, and it's manifesting itself in lots of savings for the town itself. For communications, Communication Director Krigi reported she had 29 news articles in February published on the town's website, and they were sent to 2,065 people by hyperlink. There were 12,000 website users in February of 2024 compared to 9,094 website users in the same period last year. That represents a 32% increase. And then for let's see, Facebook, we had 21,053 users or followers on Facebook, and that was about a 9% increase over February of 2023. Moving on to manager and clerk and the admin summaries, we had the Lake Lure Chimney Rock Village Gateway project. This is something we've been working on with the town and the village itself. This is a project to look at future expansion of pedestrian amenities for non-vehicular traffic by way of sidewalk along 7464-9 between Lake Lure Flowering Bridge and downtown Chimney Rock. Alan Toney of Foothills Regional has submitted an application with the NCDOT State Planning and Research for funding of a complete street application. That is a sort of a feasibility study to look at the modes of traffic by both vehicle and pedestrian to see what we could do to make improvements to that corridor that joins the town. Where this started was the need to try to look at making some pedestrian connectivity between the end of the Flowering Bridge and downtown Chimney Rock. So this is a study that's looking at a future feasibility of making that happen. For green space planning, we've got an up-to-date proposal that has been executed for master planning for the green space. Master plan study with McGill for the green space has been executed and sent to the contractor. And then moving forward, water system AIA. This is something that we're going to have on the agenda for probably the upcoming month. Lake Lure has received informal approval of its success in applying for an asset inventory assessment, or AIA, for Lake Lure's water system. The grant is for $150,000 and there is a local match involved with it as well to help map, inventory the water system and assess the infrastructure. Work will start after the town has received the official grant documents and have accepted them. Lead service line inventory, this is another one. This is a federal mandate that's been put on us. We've got until October to be able to identify all of the lead service lines for water in the town of Lake Lure. We have had a windfall here. We've applied and been accepted for up to $1 million of loans to be able to access for contractors to help us do the inventory of the lead service lines. The good news is that this $1 million of loan is 100% forgivable. So while it is classified technically a loan, there will be no repayment on that. So through a combination of contractors and our internal forces, we're gonna be able to do the inventory. And there's a rush. We have that on the agenda this evening for approval so that we can meet the October deadline for the federal government. And then lastly,
If I could ask a question on those two.
Yes, sir.
So between those two, they kind of work together, right? Because you got inventory money for the lead pipes,
Sir,
inventory
yes.
money for the system. My question is, what kind of product are we gonna see at the end of this? Is that a complete comprehensive map detailing size and configuration of our entire water system?
that is part, we're gonna end up with a GPS,
Okay.
GIS map of the water system.
Right,
We're gonna be using ground penetrating radar for accomplishing that. That's gonna be part of what you're gonna see in this. We're gonna have a contractor doing subsurface utility, locations.
that was the next part of the question.
And because we know in Lake Lure that there is X number of linear feet of water lines that we know,
Yeah.
but there's probably just as much over history of the town that's been installed and we have no record of. So what we're gonna see on this when we have approval for the council is the ability for the town to have somebody that's gonna come in here and do like a ULOCO for the town to
Yeah.
identify what these water lines are that we don't have in place right now and map those.
As well as historical records, looking at the old maps and all that. So it's a comprehensive look, but the end product is a single inventory of our water and
Yeah.
sewer system, right?
Yeah, Dean, do I have that right?
Yeah, the big difference between the two of them, the AIA grant is for that exact thing, for we are mapping our system, we're getting inventory, we're consolidating all our old maps. The end result of that is it's gonna give a snapshot of our water system, and basically all the other old maps will be disposed of, so the town is operating off one master plan. On the lead service line, that is for us.
I wouldn't dispose of them, I'd archive them. You never,
Yeah, we save them on the, we're gonna scan them and
Yeah.
save them
okay,
and get rid of the paper copies, so right now we just have rooms full of, plans. But, whenever we do the lead service line inventory, that's gonna be the actual digging, locating, and identifying the lines. So one is for basically we can only use the money for inventory and asset management. So we're gonna basically have everything documented, what we have. Lead service line is gonna be out there in the field, identifying what kind of lines we have, the service lines, the whole actual, seeing what we have under the ground.
stopping at the manholes, we're not going into private lines, right?
No, this is just for the water system.
Okay. Oh, just for the water system?
Right.
Yeah.
The sewer AIA is, that's where we're doing the same thing, mapping the lines. We did smoke testing.
Right.
Trying to
Right,
find leaks in our system, and we are also mapping it under the sewer AIA.
gotcha,
All right.
thank you.
All right, and then moving on there too, as we discussed in our previous meetings at council level, with much appreciated assistance of Chief Waycaster of our fire department, working with Laura Creegee, we did consult with John Metcalf of the policy group. We put forth a funding request to both the House of Representatives and the Senate through Senator Moffitt and Representative Jake Johnson, identified the needs for the town for future apparatus, and also touched on the needs for future fire department and public safety facility for the town. We have got a request in to both the Senate and the House through those representatives for $925,000, which is the estimated cost for the apparatus that we're going to have to go forward for purchasing in the near future. So we'll see how that goes. It is a short session, and traditionally they don't do a lot of new money, but we wanted to go ahead and put that out there for the good of the order for for our representatives so that they're aware of the need, and we'll continue that in the future with our facilities. Okay.
He was. Yeah. All right, thank you.
He was.
Hank, an associated, thank you for the
Sure.
report, Hank. Associated question on fire apparatus. Do we have an anticipated date when our fireboat is gonna be back in service?
It's at, last I had an update from Chief Waycaster, the insurance company was working on doing the replacement on the motors, but I don't have a delivery date on it.
Okay. And thank you. No, it's good.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll move on then to,
Oh, I've got review of the agenda items for, that we passed last, at the work
Okay.
session, sorry about that. This is a review of actions taken at February's work session and action meeting. We had the authorization to remove the Pool Creek Park fence, and that was actually done pretty much the same day as the approval of that work, so I think it looks great out there. The authorization to accept Conserving Carolina's donation of the Youngs Mountain Trail property once the parking lot and trail are completed. The approval of the Parks Recreation and Lake Director position description. Authorization to give the 3 destroyed lake structures in Quail Cove cluster moorings 90 days for the condemnation and 6 months for engineer judgments to be provided for all of the other structures in Quail Cove cluster moorings. The approval to amend the Lake Lure Tours concession agreement on the provision of, to open the beach following Labor Day for unsupervised access. And finally, authorization for the town attorney to seek conjunctive relief for abatement of unsafe lake structures. And that
thank
concludes that.
you.
Hank, one follow-up question with that too. So
Sure.
on the abatement, so it's my understanding that, we've, started to remove the boathouse that had
We
collapsed?
have a very willing, property owner who has
Yeah.
taken that upon himself.
Good, so we're not gonna.
going after it.
Right,
Good.
and so we don't have to execute the injunction.
It looks like not, as long as
Good.
he's, is proceeding
Like
as,
he's
as
doing-
acceptable.
Well,
Awesome.
he has like 2 weeks, right?
Right.
Okay,
Very
okay.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Good,
yeah.
he should be given that. Okay, thank you so much. We'll move on then to, item 5, the public hearing. This is concerns ordinance number 24-03-12, amending the Town of Lake Lure zoning ordinances, section 36-60, building site minimum dimensional requirements. And I will, Mike Williams, I know I saw you somewhere.
He screwed up.
He had just stuck to the back.
Yeah. We can always find you. Never fear.
I
No
figured
matter
you-
where you go, we will find you.
Surprised you weren't in the kitchen.
Do you know what it's about?
Where were we?
We are.
Public hearing.
At public hearing for ordinance number 24-03-12, amending the Town of Lake Lure zoning ordinances, section 36-60, building site minimum dimensional requirements.
This is really simple. There's a conflict in our ordinance between the R4 zoning district description, setback description, and then the schedule of all the various district setbacks. And so we determined that, we had to determine which one would be the most appropriate, what was intended. And R4 is a residential district that also has some commercial use in it. And the schedule showed the commercial side and rear setbacks. And we made a decision and then took it to zoning and planning. They agreed, as they reviewed it, that it was apparently intended to reflect the commercial setbacks for that R4 zoning. And so we just crafted the suggested amendment change to line them with each other. So it's got to have the 15-foot, 12 and 15-foot setback on the R4.
Okay?
And that's about as succinct as I can get it right now.
That's perfect. Any questions for Mr. Williams?
Do you have to,
Open the
do you have
hearing.
to open the
The
hearing?
12th vote.
Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open public hearing for ordinance number 240312.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then it's unanimously approved. We will move then to any deliberation by the council. We have discussed it at the working meeting, I
Right.
know. So
Yep.
is there any other questions?
Comfortable?
Mike?
We're good?
I'm comfortable. It removes the ambiguity
Yep.
within the codification, so it looks great.
Any thoughts from you?
Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
Then-
Anybody want to speak on that?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody wants to speak?
Is there anyone who has a comment about that, who's here today? All right, then thank you. Then do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 24-03-12, amending the Town of Lake Lure zoning ordinances, section 36-60, building site minimum dimensional requirements.
Second?
All in favor?
Oh, gotta close
Got to
it.
introduce,
Go ahead.
it's actually 3670 is the schedule. I think we got it noted wrong on the agenda. It's 3660, it's 3670.
What's 3670?
Paragraph 4.
Section 3670.
That includes the updated table.
Yeah, let's see.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Can you restate your motion?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 24-03, amending the Town of Lake Lure zoning ordinances, section number 36-70, building site minimum dimensional requirements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then
Aye.
ordinance number 24-03-12, section 36-70 passes unanimously. Thank you so much. We'll move on then to our council liaison reports. The LAB report was given at the Marine Commission meeting, so that will not be included here. If,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Duster.
So zoning and planning met February 20th. Most of the things, one of the items was just what we did just now. Also, they did review lake structure ordinance regarding prohibition against constructing boathouses without a residential dwelling on the upland or adjoining lot. Text amendment for recommendation for clarification. They also did start to look, I believe, at the comprehensive plan discussion and distribution of the 2007 2027 comprehensive plan. Also, there was discussion where, for those of you who don't know, this month's meeting will be there'll be a couple of items on it that are housekeeping items, and then we will open up for a contractors forum. So we put together a questionnaire that was sent out to, I'm not sure what the total was, but we sent out to everybody that we could find and put it on our website. So if you're interested, please come to that. It's it's next Tuesday. And we want to get some contractor input and start working on tightening up some of our ordinances, our things to help move the process
What
along.
time?
It's at 9:30.
Okay.
9:30. Yes. Yeah. And if you have any, go to the website, you can pull the questionnaire off. And there's a kind of a questionnaire to fill out. If you have a couple of things that you would like to know, put them on there and then send them in. That way we kind of have a heads up of what's coming. I'm gonna ask you this question now. Michael was gonna ask you when we were finished, but how many responses have you had back? It's been out now for 2 weeks?
I haven't seen all the printed, Olivia, you may know.
Yeah, I think we got 9 or 10. I think 9.
Oh,
Okay.
nice, good.
That's good.
I've probably had 5 or 6 verbal.
Verbal? Okay, great. And I know of a few that are coming, so, good.
And you know, this is something that's been on our agenda for several years now, talking about the need to get everybody together and then to make it just easier for people to understand what the regulations are, so they don't have to find out after. There's been a problem with them, so I'm delighted that we're moving forward with that.
So be sure and be there.
I may say this, coming after the zoning planning board meeting. We'll have much business on it.
Okay.
We'll have that business and then convene
Yeah, that's a good point, 'cause
contractors forum. And, yeah, it's a public meeting, anybody can
Originally, we had it for like 9:30 to 11:30, and that was gonna be the meeting, but since then, it dawned on us that in March, the board does need to elect its new officers, so we'll have to do that, and then something has come in that needs to be handled by them pretty quickly, so it made it for this meeting, so they'll throw it on, which will actually be good for everybody in attendance as well, to see how that process takes
So
place.
you're gonna close the zoning and plan, adjourn the zoning and planning board meeting and then have the contractors?
Yes.
meeting? Yeah,
Yep,
okay.
we'll start it,
Great.
close it, do those two things, close it, and then we'll have the forum.
Perfect.
Okay, and ABC, regular board meeting was February 19th. Nothing real exciting going on there. They're getting ramped up. Season will start here very soon, but everything seems to be going really well at the ABC store these days, so be sure and visit.
That's right, Lent will be over soon, right? So we should expect our liquor sales to pick up.
That's, yes,
If anybody in the community goes to the liquor store and they don't have what you want, if it's on the list, and available, they're really good at.
They are.
Stocking what you want.
Yeah, I'll say as a member of the restaurant community, Trent and Trish and his team, they have done a phenomenal job. Almost, 16 years in this business. This is the best the ABC store's ever
Good.
performed.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Record keeping, the whole shooting match, they have done fantastic. And
Yeah.
I went in today because I'm looking at some forward-thinking pieces for season, and they were helpful, informative. They knew what their sales were. They were able to give me their inventory tracking for the month over month, and I really see good future promise. for
yeah,
them.
they've done a
So,
great job
Thank
there.
you. Yeah, I
The
wanted
ordering
to,
process, everything.
I left feeling so great for the business community here in town
Yeah,
today,
good.
and it's happened over and over again too. So
Well, and not just from the certainly from the standpoint of operating the store and sales and revenues and things like that, but every facet of it has improved, as far as, the following the correct laws and requirements, et cetera, so we all sleep much easier now than we did previously. So, anything else?
That's it.
Do you that Board of Adjustment? or-
Madam Mayor, the town manager presented the Board of Adjustment minutes
Okay.
accurately. and I'm good.
All right, perfect, then we will move to,
I missed the park and rec meeting. They did, vote on officers.
they did vote on officers, and I left my notes at home, I'm so sorry, I sat in for Jim and I forgot this, it was Robin,
Sure.
was chairman, and, vice chair was,
I didn't hear.
help me out, somebody who was there.
Dan Bragdon, Camp Lord Rest.
Camp
Oh, Dan
Fortress.
Bragdon.
Bragdon.
Dan Bragdon
Yes.
is vice chair.
Yeah, and I will just say that, I think it's an excellent board.
And
I
you're-
really do. Everybody seemed very involved, and very energetic. And I think moving forward, that's gonna be very important as we address a lot of the things that we, are looking forward about, so.
You're on that board now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very good meeting, I thought, and I think it's a good mix of people there. It truly is. And I believe that's everything then. So thank you all. Thank everybody who's a member of the board as always. We appreciate that so much. It's a huge influx of skills we wouldn't have otherwise, and we appreciate that. And it's an opportunity for us to hear from people who are in the community. Just to remind everybody too, that on the 20th is the advisory board luncheon. So I know that Laura's already sent out invitations to everyone, and so we look forward to everyone being there as we celebrate people who have made commitments and maybe have retired from the board now, or new members who are coming on. But also it's an opportunity for us to educate everyone, but particularly new members, about the rules and regulations, about being on an advisory board, and make sure everybody understands what the mission of the board is and what their role involves. So we look forward to that. We will then move on to our next item, which is item number 7, public comment. We have one person at this point who has signed up, Pat Beatty. Anyone after Pat who would like to speak is welcome to.
Well, I just wanted to express, to see an idea, if we could expand the Parks and Recreation Director position. It bothers me when I see the director mowing grass. That's a lot of waste of tax dollars. I'd like to see, from the meeting that we had with the engineering company and the lady in the green, mentioning assistance with the conservancies to go out and try to find some dollars and some solutions for mitigating the dredging. And when you look at 30 years down the road, are we going to be in the same position? And I'd like to see that point worked on. The other thing, and Hank just talked about working with people, where those two people in the assembly you talked about, where we're giving them money, where are we in DC? You know, we need to get a presence there. We're not gonna get money from the county, we're not gonna see anything for our tax dollars, but we need somehow to figure out who we can work with on a national level to help us with the funding. It worries me when I hear all about all this money, and I know everybody's doing the best they can. I know you guys are all overworked, so that's what I thought, if we could just take a little bit of the job description, and I don't know if you could even find anybody, but just that. I'd like to see us get money. I did Tillis's today, and he had 4 pages of projects that he funded. Fire trucks, a lot of water stuff. We need to be in on all that money, and I don't know how to get us there, but, except talk to the legislatures. Okay, are we doing that?
Yes.
We are.
Okay, good.
We are. I think the majority of their search with the policy group is at the state level. But, you know, that they are involved in that too. But I mean, I agree with you, Pat, and I think we all agree. This is we have to cast a very wide net in order to ever get any of the monies that we need for infrastructure. So,
Yeah, and I'd like to go direct, I mean, directly with the politician, where you guys sit and talk to them about needs and how do we do this. I know we tried it before with another fella and never got anywhere, but we just have to keep the pressure and get us in as a player in the national level.
I agree.
So,
I agree with that.
thanks.
Thank you very much.
Pat, one thing, be careful with, that's Tillis's earmark list. That's not funded. That's
Right.
just his wish list, okay?
Yeah, we're not even on a wish list, though. are we?
Well, we are, but we're not. We've had lots of deliberations.
A
You'd
lot
be
of the
surprised.
federal funding is administered by the state.
Right.
So North Carolina's allotted a certain amount of money, and it's not the federal representatives that decides who gets it. They let the state,
Divide it
dean
up.
and those folks divide it up.
Okay, so how do we improve that area? Is there a way to
We've
improve
been
that?
pretty
Yeah,
good.
we've been
Okay.
actually been doing good. with
Yeah,
that.
I can say what's one thing too, I had meant to tack it on, but this was, late-breaking information as of yesterday afternoon, and I think I mentioned to a couple of people. We have been identified, as far as FEMA grants going, we apply for those things on, calendar years. So we had just applied for a 2024 FEMA grant, but as I was telling some members of council before the meeting started, we applied for one 3 years ago in 2021, just received yesterday the official funding to make that happen. Now we're under a gun for a tight timeline, but we're gonna do everything we can to make those dollars that we receive from the federal government
Okay.
handy.
3
And
years,
also,
3 years.
Pat, also worth mentioning, so we've talked to a number of legislators like Senator Ted Budd, Tillis's office through Robin Ramsey, who's the regional director for him. What happens in a lot of these cases is there's a competition for grant money,
Yeah.
okay? This is where it really comes in handy to know those offices, because when we go into a competition, then we can solicit for a letter of support, where that congressman or senator provides a letter and injects it into the competition process to give us that extra boost in the competition process. That's really what we've been doing and we're geared up to do. And so that's actually more fruitful than an earmark process,
Okay.
which is a one-time and forget kind of thing, and for a variety of different dynamics. So that letter of support structure is there as well. We've got commitments from particularly Senator Budd's office on that.
Okay.
What you
Right.
doing tomorrow? You been-
No, no. Yeah, you still have about 45 seconds because you yielded your time while we were talking.
Oh, I did?
Yes, you
Well,
did. No, you yielded your time to us, yeah.
Thank you for
Just wanna
thinking
make
about it,
sure.
bringing it up.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
I just-
important.
You're doing a great job getting it all organized, but I just see massive amount of areas where
Yeah.
we're still gonna need funding.
And we're
Oh,
gonna,
yeah,
and that's
right.
gonna
For a-
continue,
for
absolutely.
A while to come, for sure.
Thanks.
And while we're on that point, because Mr. Perkins alluded to a grant, I just want to thank Laura Creedy, she's not here tonight, but I want to thank her again for all the work that she does, writing our grants and submitting them. I mean, that is a huge project, it really is, and occupies a huge amount of her time, and we are very fortunate to have someone who's so skilled at and willing to submit grants. We will move on then to our consent. Oh, excuse me, was there anyone else who wanted to speak? No one else was signed up? Okey dokey. We'll move on then to our consent agenda. Having had an opportunity to review the consent agenda, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the consent agenda is unanimously approved as posted. There is no unfinished business. We were apparently very efficient last time. So we'll move on to new business. The first one, A, resolution number 24-03-12, setting public hearings for April 9th, 2024, to receive comments regarding amendment of zoning ordinances sections 36-64, 5, and amendment of Code of Ordinances, Chapter 6, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 3, Lake Structures. I'm guessing that's Mike Williams.
Uh-oh.
I don't have that paper in front of me. Which one? I apologize.
All right, it's,
Basically,
There you
a
go.
resolution to
Right.
set up the public hearing at the next regular town council meeting, April 9th, to receive comments regarding amendment of zoning ordinances that we spoke of just recently. So it's basically setting up a public hearing. It's
right.
just a formality so we can get to a public hearing next meeting. Is that correct?
Could you?
Olivia?
Which is just a formality. Do I need to speak to that?
Not really.
Not unless you want to, no.
No.
All right,
Oh. This is 3664. Didn't we just do
3670.
We did
3670?
it's 3670.
But it was the other one, okay, I thought it was something
The other one
different.
said 3660, we changed it to
Well-
3670, I
Oh,
think.
wait, is it?
This is a resolution, the other one was an ordinance.
Mm.
Yes. Thank you, Jim. I knew it.
And that's the one about the buffer for the commercial that's adjacent to a
Residential.
a property that is used for residential. And most of the ordinance, most of our zoning ordinance, compare or looks at a commercial adjacent to a residential and having buffers there. But in a situation where you have commercial that has a residential property in there, either grandfathered in, or in this case, it does, commercial general does allow for a single-family home in there.
Right.
The zoning planning board felt like that was an unfair, was not the intended purpose to have that buffer automatically required. So it was to change it, like the rest of the ordinance, to only reference commercial adjacent to residential to mandate a buffer.
Right.
Take away the required, if there is a residential use adjacent to.
Yeah, we're good, we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank
the
you.
other one was the 50% dock issue, which we've talked about as well,
Yeah.
the second part of that. Okay,
Thank you.
we're good.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to adopt resolution number 24-03-12, setting a public hearing for April 9th, 2024, to receive comments regarding amendment of zoning ordinances, section 36-64, 5, and amendment of Code of Ordinances, Chapter 6, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 3, Lake Structures.
Hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And resolution number 24-03-12, setting public hearings for April 9th, 2024, to receive comments regarding amendment of zoning ordinances, sections 36-64, parenthetically 5, and amendment of Code of Ordinances, Chapter 6, Building and Building Regulations, Article 3, Lake Structures, passage unanimously. Alrighty, we will then move on to item B, budget amendment number 366 for town water SCADA system and water system consolidation. And I believe it's listed as Stephen Ford.
Yeah, we can have a couple of things. I'd like our Public Services Director, Dean Lindsay, to talk about that. I think it'd be of interest to the folks in attendance. But Steve, you want to cover?
I told you, Dean,
How about we start with Dean and we talk about the SCADA and what it is, and then we can finish with the budget amendment.
Okay, for the, so this is the, both of them together for the town SCADA system is to allow all of our wells to communicate and us to be able to remotely monitor our whole system and control the water system. So it's better efficiency, quicker response time if we have leaks or water line breaks. Yeah, just bringing us up to where we communicate, and this system can also be used eventually with the sewer improvements, and for the lake monitoring and everything for the town. So it will give us a snapshot of all of our systems in town.
Okay.
For the water system consolidation, that is where we are combining our Lake Lure water system with Firefly Cove system. It improves the interconnection of the two systems with the different pressure zones. So we'll be adding valves and then consolidating with the state from 2 permitted systems into 1. So,
Any questions?
Yeah, does the SCADA system interface with the residential monitoring system we have now? Or are they mutually exclusive?
Residential
for
Meter readers.
The meter
Meter
readers,
reading,
yeah.
no, the meters are a separate, that's a census.
Okay, I thought so. I just
So
wanted to
they're their own
clarify.
radio system, but
Yes.
those we, with our option on that one, we can, instead of 4 days of reading meters, we can do it in
Yeah.
an hour or 2.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And then
that
with
will be
the-
a separate system that just goes to our utilities
Yeah,
billing
okay.
department.
And with the SCADA too, you can see where the leaks are and then use your census residential meters if there is a leak somewhere down the
Yeah,
line.
well, we
somewhere, too.
didn't get the option on the census for the leak detection. We were entry level.
Yeah,
They do have options where you can turn things off and on remotely, but our main goal on that was for the meters.
oh, absolutely,
The
efficiency.
SCADA will, it won't identify the small leaks. It will allow us to watch the usage from our water reservoirs. If we have a heavy increase in flow, then we can immediately get out there, shut the water off, get out there and find the leak.
Yeah, and
Instead
get
of-
straight to it.
Wait until the next day or when something empties.
So these are, how many pressure sensors are they gonna put in the system?
Pressure
know?
sensors for.
Yeah, for SCADA. I mean, what sensors are you putting in the system?
Sensors, we will have a pressure sensor at each well. We will
Yeah.
have 3 PRVs or pressure
Yeah.
reducing valves
At the valve, okay.
at the valves.
Yep.
And then in order to regain the full capacity of the Island Creek tank, we have a pressure regulated valve that will have a solenoid pilot so that we can use it to regulate the level
Yeah.
that feeds into the 80 tank so we can overcome the 2 different heights. So we'll be able to use the full capacity of the 200,000 gallon tank and also keep the water circulated by opening and closing the valve, treating it like a pump that feeds down to the 80 well and down to the rest of the
So
system.
you'll be able to see the system, particularly since we're interconnected, you'll be able to see where it's not keeping up or, you
Yes.
know, yeah.
We will have a trend analysis on all of our pumps after
Yeah.
this. We will be able to use gallon per minute flow.
Yeah. Cool,
It's good for monitoring
yeah.
what our waste is for the system also.
And then with the inventory, you can actually go and know where to fix it.
Yes,
You'll know
yes,
where
we'll
the
actually
pipe
have a
is.
map that tells us
Yeah.
where all the valves are.
Find the
No, it's good, it's good, thank you, Dean.
Any more questions?
The only question I did have, we didn't, I knew we anticipated this coming in, we didn't budget enough this year for it? Is that what we have to
Yeah.
do? It just
Yeah, I
wasn't
was gonna
enough?
say, let's walk through the budget amendment now.
Yeah,
Yes, sorry.
gotcha. He'll answer that question.
Let the finance guy do. Let's get the finance guy.
Obviously, this is something that we're having to add to it for the budget amendment, was
Yeah.
not anticipated from a dollar figure when we did the budget for the operation budget for the year.
Yeah, okay. We just underestimated it, or do you know?
No, this was added in. We're trying to get the SCADA system put in since we're getting the consolidation
Oh, the
and
time
everything
was
done.
right, with everything
It
else.
was time to get
water
it in
management.
now, so whenever they do the consolidation, we can set
Because
it
I
up.
knew we wanted to start plugging in the system into the foundational thing, I just didn't,
Yes.
and now is the time to do it then.
Yes, we get this done, then it's gonna make everything work together better, I guess.
Okay.
All right, so how are we paying for it there?
Yeah, you got any
Yeah,
dollars?
Steve's gonna handle that.
Okay.
There it comes.
We have a retained earnings or in our sewer fund.
Yeah,
You know, I'm just like you all, when it comes to that sewer fund, it perks my ears up when we have to use it. I think we are gonna have enhance our funds in that as these grant funds get sorted out, reimbursements from the Brown Engineering reimbursement.
yeah.
That was in Fund 55 as opposed to being in Fund 53, with that being a different type of project that was closed. So we have these funds coming back in, and so,
They haven't come back in yet? From the fund?
well, from an accounting standpoint, or from a accounting and audit standpoint, this will be the last review this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because those funds came back in during January of '23, so we'll
Right.
complete that audit and
I
everything.
mean, to be specific, they're actually coming in off the loan.
That's
Off the-
correct, yeah, 1,067,000,
Okay,
yes,
Okay.
off that Brown, from the Brown
yeah, it's
Um,
coming back in
Right.
there.
invoices and things
You
like
probably
that.
looked at this already, but it just comes to mind. So this is a water system. We couldn't apply our ARPA funding to that?
Did we, I think we discussed that because wasn't there something related to a grant with the SCADA?
Yes, no, we're using that for inventory asset management, and then
Yeah.
the lead service is just identification. This is for the operation of control.
As long as from town man, I can verify that with,
Well, there's
With-
probably a new set of uniform guidance guidelines that we
right,
probably would have had to go and buy.
yeah,
and use
that's
that.
correct,
All
yeah,
right, so it's past, gonna
Yes.
be, okay,
right, yeah.
yeah.
Unless we back it up, I mean, which we don't need to do, I think.
No,
it was
I mean, since we have the Brown Engineering money coming back, it seems
And
like
more,
it's-
yeah. I think
And
we have-
more, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like this is, I'm comfortable with.
A good use of the money.
Yeah, a good use of the money, so.
Now, Dean, this is gonna end up being on the water tanks as well, or you already have SCADA on the water?
No, everything is manual in our system now.
Okay.
So everything will be,
Yeah.
the supervisor control will be added,
Mhm.
and we'll be able to monitor our water system remotely. As the sewer system is installed, everything will be on the same SCADA platform.
Right.
And, same thing with our
Yeah.
lake levels and,
Yeah.
our hydrant plant and our wastewater treatment.
Yeah, and this benefits in one reason, one way, I'll give you a classic point for it. We've got a tank that, previous to the SCADA system, we didn't know it was overflowing until somebody called us and
Yeah.
told us it was
Yeah,
overflowing.
yeah.
So the SCADA's gonna allow us to have real-time monitoring and things like that to let us know immediately whether or not the pumps are in action and pumps are running, or whether or not we've got any problems, and without having to hit the boots to come down here and, take a look at it.
Hank, you bring up a good thing. You know, really, we haven't really operated the systems interjoined like this. We know it works. We've done the testing. Best if we leave them all mechanical and let your guys go out and operate, watch the SCADA so they learn the system. Then, after a period of doing it that way, we may want to look at some automation of the valves. You go right to automation and, you know, sometimes out of sight, out of mind, and you get those incidents that you're talking about, Hank,
Right.
overflowing. So I think it's probably, you take a look at it, but it's probably a good thing that your guys are out there looking at the valves, testing what you're seeing in SCADA, just to learn the system over the
It's
next
gonna be
year.
such a big improvement, because even
Yeah.
in our one lift station, you've got an auto dialer that's antiquated.
Right,
At
right.
that point, you gotta wait for the thing to make a cellular phone call to somebody and let them know, hey, I need something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
With
we
this-
just,
this
we did
system on
upgrade
here-
that to, we got a Wi-Fi, we
Yeah.
got Wi-Fi at the hydrant plant, we were able to, now we still get a text now.
Right. But at least right now, they can look and see what
Yeah,
the lift
look and see
station
and
is
then
and
go
whether or
out
not
and
the pump
investigate.
motors are really
Yeah.
working or
Right.
not, so.
right.
Well,
No, good, okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I
we
get
can't
that.
see what's working, the only thing we can monitor is the level of the lift
Level.
station.
Well, you know what's wrong, and then
You
you
know it's
figure out
wrong,
what's.
Yes, yeah, then
Yeah.
we still come in, but we can see, we get the notification, but we can,
Well, yeah, because if you got a tank level that's rising, then you know it's not working.
Yeah.
yes, and then
Sure.
we make the race, who can get there first to turn the
Yep.
other pump on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
And this is just, this is an equipment software purchase. Does it have long-term contract?
No,
Funds attached to it,
the
just a-
way I designed everything is I did not want to go after the monthly
Thank you.
fees and
I
rates on
appreciate
it,
that.
so that's why when we purchased the brains of the SCADA, we have the server located at the lake house. So that is the basis for the control and everything. We should never have any recurring annual fees. Any maintenance we pay after the warranty period for program changes or anything, it'll be time and material.
Okay, that's
But we
fantastic.
didn't-
Yeah, thank you.
You're going through the internet though, right?
Yes, everything is
Yeah.
through,
Our
So,
pre-existing.
so that's something we're gonna look at too, because now though I know no one nefarious would wanna hack into Lake Lure, but the potential's there. So we're gonna have to take a look at security, make sure that
we'll
we
make it
protect
the
it.
same way we deal with our hydro plant controls.
Yeah.
We have it, we were very conscientious about the firewall and that.
Yeah.
Just on that.
Yeah.
Currently, we can't, the only way we can access the hydro plant is through the remote server.
Thank you.
For
Okay.
our SCADA system, we can put it out there, but they will not have any control. It'll just be, whoever wants to see our system will just have a visual of it, but they can make no changes.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay, do I hear a motion then?
I move that we approve budget amendment number 366 for town water SCADA system and water system consolidation.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then budget amendment number 366 for town water SCADA system and water system consolidation passes unanimously.
Hey, Dean.
We'll move on then to item C, approval of Labella Test 19 for lead services lines inventory.
This is something I alluded to in the manager's report early on. It possibly could be jumping the gun a little bit, but this is, the reason we have this before you this evening is because we are on a time crunch with the federal government for October for doing this. So if it helps to have the task order approved, and I'll let Dean explain what the task order is gonna be done, it will help us meet that deadline to give us all the ample amount of time. We still have not seen the letter of funding, the intent to fund yet, so we may have further work to have to come back to the board with once we receive that, if there's anything required from the town to accept the loan funds itself.
Okay.
So, go ahead,
Okay.
Dean.
Yeah, and that was the big thing. We're making preparations. We have got the good indication that everything's gonna get approved. So we are currently setting up our contractors, getting a game plan for how we're gonna go through the town and get the contractors in there, who we're gonna bring on board, and get everything identified for our water system. Big thing is we have to get it done before October, so that's what we're trying to accelerate everything.
Yeah.
And this
good thing
approval
we have
for this evening is contingent on the successful paperwork coming through.
Right.
Right.
Is there a timeline? Anything?
Gotta get it done by
definitive?
October. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, by October. We got a lot coming up.
So I'm
between Sep-
assuming we have to get it done whether we get the loan or not.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah.
that's, you know,
This is just really gonna help us achieve
Right.
that goal for the lead and copper
Yeah.
Sure.
requirements from
Yeah.
the state.
And there will be further work to do, because if we identify any lead service lines through this, then there is going to be a further mandate in the future past October that we work with for the removal of these lines, even as it's contemplated if it's on private property. So,
Would that be part of this fund, or
no,
would we
this
get
is just
more?
to find it.
This is just to find it?
And then we're
and then you-
hoping that if we find it, there will be other opportunities for assistance to abate it as well.
Abate it, okay, perfect.
okay, do I hear a motion?
Hank, we need to pick the pre-audit on this.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve Labella Task 19 for lead service lines inventory, contingent upon the town receiving official notice of award.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then Labella Test 19 for lead services lines inventory passes unanimously. We'll move on then to item number D, which is approval of Labella's proposed adjustments to sewer AIA project scope, which we also discussed earlier. Is there anything more you want to say about that?
You're in the hot seat tonight.
Well, I mean, Hank already
Now,
went
now
through
for
it.
that one, this is the sewer AIA, Dean and his guys, working with Labella and the engineers, were able to be really cost conscious on the existing scope.
Yeah, change
So
it, change it.
we're talking about not leaving money on the table.
Right,
For it, so
right.
this is sort of reallocating the
remainder,
the remaining
What you
funds.
have left over, yeah.
Yes.
The big thing we're focused on now is getting the GIS and the same thing we're gonna do with the water is
Yeah.
getting our lines, valves, everything located. We did the smoke testing, the high bathymetric survey, everything, a lot of beneficial things for the town. Now, this is where, after getting everything printed and get everything, documented
Okay.
for the rest of the money.
Remind me, is there a meter between Chimney Rock Village and the town of Lake Lure on the sewer?
For the water,
No, the sewer line.
no, the Chimney Rock is proposing to install their own monitoring well. They were either trying to use one of the existing ones, but more than likely have to install a new monitoring well so that they can gauge the flow that Chimney Rock contributes to our system.
That's important information in my mind.
Yes, that's part of their
New,
their grant that they received. So that's part of theirs, is they're looking at a location that we can agree to between Lake Lure and us,
yeah.
Yeah.
because we do have a gray area, who feeds what, and we are currently still looking for a missing line that,
Jim,
Cross
worth
that.
noting, so we popped the lid on that manhole, there's some flow coming through.
Oh, no, I totally understand that, but it'd be nice for us to know what it is.
Yeah.
Right,
Because it
Yes.
costs us money to
That's
deal
right.
with it.
absolutely.
Right.
So
Yeah,
ho-
this is,
Yeah.
yeah, this is something too. We have a 1970s agreement
Yeah.
with Rutherford County, where
Yeah.
this 1970s agreement called for this sewer meter to be put back in 1970.
Mhm.
It was never done. Chimney Rock Village just recently inherited the agreement from the county, so they are backing up and going forward with that to make sure that the meter's put in place.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
They have $6 million to do it, they got a grant, so they should
They
be
do.
able.
They
That
should.
system should be super tight.
Yep.
Cause we've always told Chimney Rock, before you hook into our new system, your system's gotta be pristine, and it looks like they're gonna get there, probably ahead of us. So
Yeah.
that'll be good.
All right, do I hear a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve Labella's proposed adjustments to sewer AIA project scope.
Yes.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then, LaBelle's proposed adjustments to sewer AIA project scope is approved unanimously. We will then move on to item E, and honestly, we could probably look at E and F together because they're just different locations, but the same thing. E is request for town council approval to add fill for maintenance of Rumbling Ball Resort Beach located at 153 Mountains Boulevard. And F is request for town council approval to add fill for maintenance of town-owned beach located at 2724 Memorial Highway. So, Mr. Williams, you're on.
Our ordinance prohibits any kind of fill going into the lake, and it would include sand going into a beach. And that's the way that the Army Corps interpreted it as well. And they initially had said that we could no longer do that. And we had a discussion with them and explained that the beaches are very significant here in Lake Lure, between Rumbling Bald and the town beach. And then there's a few long-time private beaches. And so we worked out an agreement with the Army Corps to allow those beaches that have existed to continue to be maintained, no additional beaches added, but continue to maintain those. But we have to agree to monitor it, to try to keep it minimal additions, re-nourishment of the sand, and have a system for following that. So that's what we're doing. The only two I've got this year are Rumbling Bald and the town beach. And the town may not, the town beach here, I just talked to George a little bit ago, and they may not even add any sand this year.
This year?
They're gonna try not to. I know Rumbling Ball does the same, but they have more flow out of there with the locations they have. So this is just really, it's, the Army Corps has agreed with it, the DEQ has agreed with them on it. We've agreed to go through this process, just need to have it in the minutes that it's approved for those two beaches to re-nourish their sand.
So we'll do one at a time, I guess. Do I hear a motion for the first?
Just like last year, I make a motion to approve Rumbling Bald Resort to add as needed sand for maintenance of their beach.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the council approves the request to add fill for maintenance of Rumbling Ball Resort Beach located at 153 Mountains Boulevard. We'll move on to item F. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve authorization of written approval from town council to allow applying minimal sand as required to the beach area at and above normal shoreline 990.5 MSL for maintenance of existing beach located at 2724 Memorial.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a comment on that too. I do hope that the additions of the new paved pathways at 2724 with the TDA funds that we used for the new walkway have helped to remediate some of the rain runoff issues over there too. I really hope that's helping to keep some of that from happening too. Yeah.
That's a
Apparently
good
it's
point.
helped. I think there's still issues in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. But I remember what it used to look like. And it looks like
It
it.
looks much better.
Yeah, the remediation work done for that new pathway has definitely helped in some way. So.
And when you look at the storm we had January the 9th, and all the damage that came from that, and saw, pretty minor
Mhm.
here at the beach.
Especially
This was a lot.
compared, yes. I have
Yeah.
driven across that hole that used to
Yeah.
make itself known at 20, at the main beach, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
All right, we'll move on to item G then, budget amendment number 368 for erosion repairs at 2654 Memorial Highway, and I believe that is Mr. Ford and Mr. Lindsay.
Yeah.
Jerry and Dean.
Hi.
Hello again.
Okay, this is for, over at the, 2654, the area by the police boat dock, or the police boat house, where we had the heavy rains a while back. It took out the creek bed, just widened it, and, it's starting eating into the bank. The only thing this is for just to stabilize the bank located, across from the police boat house. We were just gonna straighten it up a little bit, add riprap just to stabilize the bank, and then take some of the overgrowth out. And then, be able to have everything ready for when the water comes back up, just to prevent further erosion. But it's from the corner of the creek bed up to, there's a light pole where they keep their boats.
Any questions? All righty, do I hear a motion then? This is for $29,000 is
Yes, ma'am.
the amount.
I make a motion, we approve the budget amendment number 368 for erosion repairs at 2654 Memorial Highway.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And budget amendment number 368 for erosion repairs at 2654 Memorial Highway is approved unanimously.
Dean, you think that'll handle that for a while? What you're gonna do? Seems like it will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once we get the riprap in there, it's the same procedure we do,
Yeah.
all over the lake.
Right.
The fill will just start filling over top of.
Over top.
Yeah,
Okay.
because, with the lake going down.
That was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, thank you,
Thanks,
Dean.
man.
All right. There being no further items of business on our agenda, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn. Oops,
Did we have anything?
no.
I'll second the motion to adjourn.
Second?
Oh, me, sorry.
You make the motion.
Oh, Jim did.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Jim motioned, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye,
And we stand adjourned.
so heard.
All right, we'll be